In movies, a lot of stuff is dramatized to where it appears that there's just millions and millions of dollars in fiat currency or cash, and that is not the truth. They only operate with as much cash as they need to circulate and do business with. Outside of Federal Reserve drops for large banks, even then, you're not going to see any of that floating around on the floor or in the teller's desk. In the vaults, if you go in, there's going to be a lot of miniature chambers, sometimes a smaller interior vault within a bigger one, holding a lot of the cash. Hey everybody, I'm Camden Pace. Back in the day, I took down a couple banks, armed bank robberies. Been there, know a little bit about heists, and also know what it's like to get caught and be in that in-between spot that nobody wants to be in. Once that alarm is tripped, they need to be out in about 45 seconds. They could have cruisers somewhere nearby the location that are going to get dispatched to that scene, and at that point they need to cut their losses if they haven't gotten everything they want. They should already have that exit strategy, a vehicle waiting, or in this case they've got their motorcycles. You know, they can always pull another heist a later day if something kind of went left with their plan. But they need to get out really quick, and good rule of thumb is 45 seconds once that alarm's tripped. And 45 seconds can feel like a long time. Okay, here we go. Got 3 guys in so far. Oh, one guy's just peeking through the window, checking everything out. None of these guys are wearing masks.
Right.
Oh, now we're gonna put on masks now that we're all standing out in the parking lot. Okay, this is funny if nothing else. Okay, here we go.
Commando.
Somehow entering the back of the bank and the door just happened to be unlocked. Broad daylight heist. So this will be interesting to see if it's an inside job. Not common at all to hit the same place twice. It's a one and done. Too many measures are put in place after that. They're gonna roll these cameras back, look at it like it's game film. Where did we go wrong? Where were our weaknesses? A very, very intense, thorough investigation from the casinos and actually the Gaming Commission, plus the U.S. Treasury Department. So no, you would never want to hit the same place twice. Yeah, that was really strange. If these guys were to come in to gain access to the vault, they would have had to have cleared it with at least 2 levels of security. Those are 2 fail-safes that something like this actually could not happen. They would have needed a code to give to one of the officers and then a separate code to give to the second line of defense. So they couldn't just go in and say, hey, open the vault. Vaults are usually time-released as well. So if you initiated an opening sequence, it could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 minutes for the locks to actually disengage. Good point for me to bring up probably to anyone who's wondering about bank robberies is they don't carry a lot of cash on hand. Only enough cash in that bank to do minimal transactions with. It's not like the movies where they have vaults just full. They don't have gold in them either. You have to get authorization from not only the branch manager, but then they have to call in and call corporate for certain amounts over. Then you have to file out IRS paperwork to withdraw that much just raw cash.
You know, we just took a
Depositing is also too. You can't just go in and deposit a lot of cash without filling out a bunch of paperwork.
Yeah. What's so funny is we just took the whole glamour out of bank robberies.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I don't want to glamorize it. I want to talk about the realism and how much fun the video games look, but in real life, here's the thing. In real life, you can get killed if you try to rob a bank. It is a serious crime. And they don't shoot for your legs.
No. Center body mass.
Center body mass.
And if that doesn't work, headshot.
Headshot.
Yeah. Our rings start at 8, our pendants start at 12.
You know, jewelry's really marked up about 5,000% anyway, so I think he did well trying to lowball them. Personally, I preferred banks. I thought stores were a lot more high risk, and I think it involves a lot more middle dealing in that you have to have somebody to fence the jewelry to in order to get any kind of liquidity and cash, whereas you rob a bank, you've got cash immediately and you don't even have any middleman. But I prefer to stay away from stores. I think there's a lot more variables that could go wrong than in a bank. It's a tighter space. A lot of unpredictable things can happen. Plus then, in order to even access the jewelry, you are gonna have to smash it and grab it while controlling the environment with all the other staff and clients. Definitely not the smartest move to just go in guns blazing on the gaming floor and taking out people playing slots, cashier, a cocktail waitress, or whomever. Right then, dispatch is calling law enforcement, so they haven't even barely gotten into the casino, let alone gotten to the vault. They would never even get halfway there in real life. Security would have already taken them out. So not the smartest strategy to go in guns blazing, but very exciting nevertheless. I think 95% of your criminals are probably, after they run off the gold, they're at the meth house.
Let me ask you this: would you have ever did a dive to get some money?
Yeah, I would have died. I'm scuba qualified.
Oh,
Yeah, for real.
oh, sorry. Beep.
I would definitely dive for some money. It's getting it up is the question. I don't know. I kind of like the helicopter. It'd be nice if you had one and avoid any other air traffic pathways. I think it's a good idea, but probably not for very long. You'd probably want to just get out of a 30 to 40 mile perimeter and then get into an undisclosed vehicle and go from there. But I kind of like the helicopter getaway. I wonder if they're flying by instruments. Thermal drill. How do they set that up so fast? For a vault like that, if it's blown, it could very well be breached. Usually there's going to be another door behind it to either blow that as well, pick it with another lock. Really time consuming. If everything went perfectly and smooth, it'd probably take 45 seconds to do that with that kind of technology to pick the locks. Outside of that, if you just use codes, there's going to be a time release mechanism of 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, you'd have to be pretty well synced with your partner here if you're going to come in and do this. What are they grabbing?
Money. That looks like money.
Is that gold bullion? Oh my goodness. You know, that's really heavy. So his bag probably weighs 300 pounds right now. He's just running around with gold bars. Unless you absolutely know when the Federal Reserve is going to make a drop, you have to have insider information. There's no way you can just blindly guess the cash amount a bank's going to hold at any given time. It could be very little to maybe a substantial amount. You would have to know exactly when and how much. There's never a set time for these drops. All of that's highly encrypted when requests are made, and route deliveries for armored vehicles making those drops are constantly scrambled. So no, you couldn't just blindly guess as to how much is going to be in a bank just by looking at it. Hopefully you're not really planning on going out and doing this. This dude with the dual palm trees on the back of his vest, you would think he'd be wearing something nondescript, but he says, no, I've got palm trees all over me. Key word, boys and girls, the word neutralize means blown away, game over. That was realistic because that guy didn't have a leg to stand on. As a video game pulling off a bank heist, this was an epic fail in several areas. One, lacking the takedown authority to take control of everyone in the bank. The two guys that obviously had a long conversation about what they were going to do, somebody should have pistol whipped them or kicked them in the face. One of them should have had a barrel against his ear and said, you know, hey, we're going to do you and we're going to take off. But what was kind of disappointing really was in the vault, they did not show the actual amount of money that was being taken. And they probably should have had one more team member handing that off while someone else secured the exit. Cash is really heavy. If you could fill up an athletic bag about that size with cash, it's probably about 50 to 60 pounds. So a lot of that money that's going to come in bricks of 10,000 out of the vault, people don't realize how much cash weighs.
You lied. You said there's not that much money there.
Unless there's a Federal Reserve drop, and that would only be at a large bank. Kids, that money you just saw on the table, that's really heavy. You'd need a lot of help getting all that out. The thing is, even if you take surveillance cameras out or you were to take down the guards, bank tellers have alarms underneath the counters. The signal's already gone out that there's a robbery in progress, so closest patrol units are going to respond, and a small army's going to descend on this bank. Whoever's available is coming. That's why, really, for anyone, if they wanted to successfully rob a bank, you can't spend hardly any time in the bank. You've got to get in, you've got to get out. And the last thing you want to do is get into a hostage-taking situation, because there's just no getting out of that.
Here we go. Green light. Let the time lock do its thing.
If you do see bricked money, they come in $10,000 bricks. That's $100 bills. If you're wondering what $1 million would feel like, so 110,000 bricks, you could get that in a very large duffel bag, but then it would probably weigh close to 60 pounds, if not 80. I think 80 would probably be a little bit more accurate.
What do you got?
Oh, some kind of deal going down here. Holy Grail must be a huge jewel. Okay, tough job ahead. So we got the guy who's got the inside knowledge. Uh-oh, this guy's deep in debt, owes somebody Martin Madezzo. Man, this beats anything I've ever seen. I think he would have been better just smashing the car into the window and grabbing a bunch of stuff and running. That's a lot. That seems to be a big middle step to put gas into the building. Maybe they could have just come in at night. It would have been a lot easier if they'd have just learned the alarm code. Oh, tap the brakes. Now he's into a turn going the wrong way, and it's broad daylight. You know, this is not how you would start off any kind of heist whatsoever. I don't even know where's the rest of the crew. I think two of these guys would have been knocked out by now. That's a fast-acting grenade. There they go, like dominoes. Everybody's down. Okay, they're taking all kinds of stuff out. Nobody's covering the door. case anybody tries to come in. We'll see how long it's taking them. It doesn't look like they know exactly what they're going for. You know, I really think if this were done right, they would have just had all the bags laid out, grabbed everything, thrown them all in. We can perfectly see his face. You know they got surveillance cameras in the jewelry store. I'm surprised there aren't any, there hasn't been a lot of gunfire. They haven't set up a perimeter anywhere on these guys. No one's called ahead. Okay, they are riding the bikes up on the truck. Okay, that's that's a classic maneuver. Don't know why they did it right out in the open. It probably would have made more sense to do that under a bridge, under a freeway. Okay, I think the game drags a lot. And in real life, we just ran over 2 pedestrians, completely going right into the safe house. I mean, this is one hell of a novel. I don't know where, this is really lacking a lot of action. I don't know where the explosions are, where the fireworks are, where any of the gunfire play is. I think given that they had a guy who had access to the blueprints, the ductwork and everything else, it would have been realistic to think he could have somehow gotten the alarm code, and they should have pulled the heist at night. I think broad daylight, running in like that, smashing everything up in front of witnesses, completely unprofessional, but definitely they could have learned where the alarm system was, if there was sensors, and how those could have been deactivated.
Something is when you probably see about 20 barrels pointed at you, right?
With everyone's like hats turned around this way, and we're gonna blow that out of you if you don't surrender.
In case you guys don't know.
And civilians on the street corner going, light him up. You know, it was, really bad.